So in this video, you're going to see us pour our slab and kind of talk about all the things that we had to do that, and some of the headaches and some of the wins. So yeah, check it out. So some of the reasons that I wanted to do slab is we are from Texas, so that's all I kind of knew were slabs. Slab on grade specifically is what they call it. Is where pretty much they just, what we have right now is we're just the concrete, the whole slab is really just plopped right on the dirt pretty much. Not that I'd ever poured one before, but I've seen them and kind of know what a house feels like when it's on one and things like that. And I like the idea of walking around with concrete underneath your flooring, nice and solid, and not creaking floors and things like that. And then a basement I was just terrified of. It would be really nice to have a basement if it didn't flood and things like that, but I know they're a pretty penny if you want them done the correct way. And I just didn't know how, and I don't think I wanted to pay for someone to do it the right way. So that's why we went with a slab on grade. It was a monolithic pour, as they call it. And I followed everything by the book as far as the house plans, kind of tell you to whatnot, and did some research and talked to some guys. But yeah, this is our slab on grade. So a few of the techniques of the prep work of the slab are kind of marking out your house, where your house is going to sit, all the corners, where all the footings are going to go if you have some of those, and then digging the footers out, creating ditches, and then throwing forms up for the concrete on the outside for the pour. And then our plans called for some what they call capillary barriers. So we had like 4 inches of gravel on each of the mounds right above the ditches, and then plastic, 6 mil plastic over that. And all that is to prevent water from seeping up through the foundation into your home. That moisture is to keep everything that you don't want in your house, keep it out.
And everything we know about this area is that it's very moist.
It's a lot of water, yeah.
A lot of dampness in the ground and the air. Yeah,
and there's lots of different techniques with that. Some people don't do the rock and just do heavy on plastic. Some people do, like we did, rock and plastic. So yeah, I would check what your local guys are doing, and check your local YouTube channel. No, I'm just kidding. But you got to rough in your plumbing, and if you have any electrical, some people even rough in their water and hot water. I didn't. I'm going to save that for the framing, going to the framing on top, and then rebar. And again, that's the way our plans called out for it. You can do what they call post tension. You can look that up and see what that's all about. But ours called for rebar, so I followed it to a T, the size of rebar, the shapes, grid patterns, and all of that, which you saw another video on, I believe too. And I think that's it. I think that's all your prep work, making sure your forms are level and the concrete's going to go exactly where you want it to, you know?
Yeah.
And then calculate for your concrete to place the order.
Yeah, which was a lot. It was more, again, I've definitely never done anything like this before, so it was a lot more than I anticipated. I had no idea what footers would mean, what it needed, what it was for, what all the work it would take, the forms. I had no idea. So, I mean, you can watch back through. It's definitely been a couple month process because we're doing it on our own, on weekends, weeknights. But, you know, it's worth it to have it done right. And like he said, you got to figure out what kind of foundation you want. The house plan we bought had options where you could get it with a crawl space or, you know, whatever. And we opted to do the slab, especially because we're up here a little bit on a hill, so we weren't worried about any type of flooding. We're on a great grade, so.
Yeah, if we were like most houses around here on like building on like a side of a hill, then we would have had to have done like pier and beam or like half basement or all that stuff, which we could have done. It would have been a little scary, I think. So I'm really glad that the property we ended up falling in love with had a nice plateau spot, perfect for a house, perfect for a slab on grade. So it worked out really nice. What's up, y'all? The convoy of workers just left. They just finished up the slab, so it's just me and my concrete slab. That cost way more than I thought it was going to in concrete. Yeah, so if you didn't hear, I had originally ordered 60 yards of concrete with a callback truck, and it ended up totaling to about 95 yards of concrete. Because of me, because I dug the footers a little bit too big. But the good news is the finishers say that the footers look like they belong on a 3 or 4 story building. So I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, I paid for it in concrete. So that's it behind me. It looks really great. A few things. They polished the main living area, the interior spaces, to receive carpet or wood flooring or adhesive or whatever we want to do with it. That's kind of standard. And then they did a dry brush on the patios. I don't know what the technical term for that is, but just to give it a little grip, so when it does get wet and does get moisture on it, we're not slipping all over the place when we walk out on the front or the back porch. So you'll see that happen in the videos. They added the anchors along the exterior walls, and then they did some cutting, some relief cutting on the patios to allow some give and take so nothing will crack away on the exterior parts. So that's it. He said I could take the forms out tomorrow and begin framing on the following day. They did actually recommend that I water it with like a yard sprinkler for the next few days, just to prevent any little cracking at all on the top surface. So I think I'll do that. I'll run to Lowe's real fast and get one of those sprinklers you grew up with as a kid, and so just keep this thing as cherry as possible. So I am excited. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in like 24 hours. I've been so nervous about today. It went off all right. I think I upset a few concrete drivers. I think they're already kind of ornery to begin with. So yeah, it was a stressful day, but here we are at the very end of it, and looking forward to get going on to the next step. So see you guys. So real fast, just wanted to cover what the specific type of concrete was after talking with some guys. This is 3,000 psi interior concrete. I guess it's kind of a pretty basic for all homes. They sold me on putting the fibers or strands, I can't remember, and they said it helps with cracking and things like that. And you can actually see them. They're real tiny little strands in the concrete that kind of help it stay together. They quoted me $154 per yard after I added the strand in and all this stuff. We got the bill. It was actually $127 per yard and $6 for strand and $20 for a service charge per truck. So it was quite a bit cheaper, a few $1,000s cheaper than I thought it was going to be for some reason. Again, I don't know what's the usual. I don't know if they messed up or the guy quoting me messed up or we just got a steal. I don't know. I was expecting it to be $153 per yard, but ended up being closer to, I think, $130, $140, something like that. And I don't know if we covered either that the total amount of yards we used was 100. I don't know if I said that before, so you can edit this out if you like. But we used 100 yards of concrete to pour this, about 50% more than I was planning for, so quite a bit more. Okay. So you just watched our concrete get poured and a quick little recap video of the day of when I was out there. And as I sit and think about it, you know, obviously way too much concrete. I really could have done a better job at digging the footers correctly and digging them more accurately. And I think if I had my mind and have watched other guys do it, if I did it again, if you're thinking about doing this, I would have a person constantly measuring the footer as someone is digging with the laser level, making sure you're not too deep, not too high, just wide enough. And then I would have guys, some other guys, running wheelbarrows of your dirt that you're pulling out, because that was another problem we had. That is that we kind of just weren't sure what to do with the dirt once we dug it. Excuse me. And we were putting dirt in the middle, then having to move around, then having to flatten it out, and then trying to figure out how to get it out. And it was just kind of chaotic. And then the last thing, which is one of the first things, is double check your grade, because I was told by the dozer contractor that it was flat. And about halfway through the forms and after the ditches, we realized, oh, this is not quite flat. And so we had to kind of compensate with our forms to get it where we need it. And I think that was another factor that played a role in the additional concrete that we needed. So a lot of things requiring that additional concrete. But again, what a great product. Had to pay a little bit more for it. We can do it a little more efficiently next time.
So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Keep tuned, stay tuned rather. Subscribe, like, follow us, and you can kind of stay up to date on how we're doing with all the framing. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Bye.
Bye.